Hey y'all, I'm back with you for another video. I wanted to talk about self-esteem. Self-esteem, it has positive connotation and negative connotation. But simply the word itself means how you feel about yourself and the confidence that you have. But it's funny because self-esteem oftentimes is based off of other people's opinions, which is totally backwards, but it happens. It happens to each and every one of us. I'm definitely guilty of that. And so I wanted to talk today about how we can make sure that that doesn't happen, how we can take control of our self esteem and have a positive self esteem and body image. And so, first thing that's important to do is step back from social media a little bit. Sometimes we need to take breaks from that and realize that that's not reality. Many of these famous people have altered pictures and edited and photoshopped and all of these things to make them look how they want to look, but oftentimes we don't see how they actually look. And I think we're getting to that point more where social media is becoming more realistic, but we're still not there yet. And the more you get into scrolling and seeing these people, sometimes when you're sitting at home in your sweats with no makeup on, you're thinking, wow, I don't live that luxurious life. Like, I don't wear clothes like that, or my thighs don't look like that, or, whatever. And I think we need to step back and say, hey, this is cool. Social media is great. It's not a bad thing. But when we go to the point of comparing ourselves and thinking less of ourselves because of it, that's when social media becomes a bad thing. Secondly, I think it's important to do what you love. For me, that is exercising, and that's not because I want to look skinny. It's because for me, I want to look strong. And strong looks different for everyone else. And so that's what I love to do, and that brings me happiness and joy and boosts my self-esteem. But for some people, they don't like exercising, and that's totally fine. Some people love to be out in nature. Some people like to read a good book. I think it's important to do what you love, no matter what it is, whether it's physical, whether it's mental, whether it's emotional. Doing what you love helps you to feel better about yourself, and it's important to have self-care because the more you run yourself ragged and you see all these images and compare yourself to everyone else, the worse off you're going to be. So don't do that, girl. Do not do that. And the last tip that I have for today is to look at yourself in the mirror every morning, and whether internally or just verbally, preferably verbal, but saying good things about yourself and noticing the good that you have and the good that you do. Not just physical characteristics, but also your traits and those things that make you you. I think it's important to look at yourself and to see who you really are. There are parts of my body that I still struggle with on a day-to-day basis that I'm not pleased with. And over the past few years, I realized that there are things I can't control, which really stinks. Like, I've done everything that I thought I could, and it still doesn't change. And so I've learned slowly, very, very slowly, to accept them and to realize that that's okay, and I can still live a good life and still be a good person, and nobody thinks of me differently. And so I think it's important in the morning, or at least on a daily basis, whatever time of day works for you, is taking a step back and saying, hey, I really like this about myself. For me, I really like how I'm a good listener, and I like how my eyes look, and I like that I have a positive attitude, and that shows in my smile, and just those little things from day to day. And I think something else that can help us is pointing that out in other people, because everyone else has these problems too and isn't confident about a lot of things. And so if we can step back, and when we start to realize in other people, we'll start to realize in ourselves as well. And so just trying to be positive and making the most out of any situation. And so I know these are things that we've talked about and we know for many, many years, but putting it into practice is a different thing. And so those are my tips to encourage you to boost your self-esteem and to come away with a more positive self-esteem and view of yourself, because you are awesome. And other people think that. Maybe sometimes they don't say it, but you are awesome, and you need to know that. And you're the most important person to convince that of. So you do you, girl, and just try to apply these things and let me know how it works. Awesome. Have a good night.